Welcome to a very special podcast of Revsportz, and the man here sitting next to me needs no introduction, so it's an honor and absolute privilege to have you with us, Mr. Rahul Bose. And why is he here? Because I feel in the larger sporting ecosystem of the country, he is an extremely important voice. And why I say this with a lot of humility, you will find out in the next few minutes of the podcast, where I'll be asking some questions to him. So let me start with this very simple thing, sir. A lot of people actually want to know this from you, that why did you take to rugby? In fact, you could have taken to any other sport, right? So why did you take to rugby in the first place? And you know what intrigued you towards this sport when you started playing it and representing the country?
I started for all the wrong reasons. I started when I was a child. Here was a sport you could legitimately get dirty playing. Here was a sport that you could give vent to your aggression and you wouldn't be frowned upon. And it made you very popular with the girls in our school. They loved to see contact, violent sport. Maybe that's not true anymore for women, so I don't mean to make any kind of statement. But those were the reasons as a 14-year-old boy I began to really get very attracted to the sport. So it was not very soon after that, maybe 2.5 years later, when I was scouted by the Bombay Gymkhana, the club where I used to play, my school used to play for the club. And as I began to play for the club, at the time India wasn't recognized as an official rugby playing nation. So I had no opportunity to pit myself against the best in the country and say, I've made the national team. There was no national team. We're talking 1984, 85. So for the next 13 years, I just played for the club. And that was the highest level. We were 12 clubs playing, and we used to play each other, and that was that. Even less than 12 clubs. But what I did begin to find in that game, which hooked me forever, was the rhythm. There's a melody in all sports, and this melody that rugby had of intense moments of action, and then moments of I can't call it rest, but a little bit of a lull, and then intense action again. The way the game plays out, the rhythm, the melody, the song of that game while you're playing was very poetic to me. I found it to be incredibly addictive.
Yeah.
Coupled with that was the fact that here you were face to face with, at that age, everybody is concerned with physical fear. You're 5'6" and putting yourself against somebody who's 6 foot. Can you actually make it? And with the right technique and the right mindset and the right kind of fitness, you can. And so I had to work very hard at that. And then when I was 31 years old, which is pretty much in most cases, pretty much I would say, towards the end of your career. That is when India had got recognition as a test playing nation. So then there was a second sort of win that I had, and I had to work very, very hard to make the Indian team, and then play from the age of 31 to 42 for 11.
Separate set of challenge altogether again.
Yeah, there was 11 years from 1998 to 2009. But the parallel challenge, which I had never seen, would be that my acting career had become I'd become very successful in the years from 98, English August released in 95, it was a cult hit. And so from 98 to 2009, all the films that anybody talks about, whether it's Mr. and Mrs. Iyer, whether it's Shankar Beats, whether it's Chameli, whether it's Shaurya, whether it's Pyar Ke Side Effects, all those films happened in those 11 years. So I had to look at the international rugby calendar and decide that, okay, this is when the tournament is. We used to have one Asian tournament. And a month of camp before that, a month after that, to be in hospital or to heal or to have stitches or whatever. So those 2.5, 3 months would go out of the calendar. Then I would program my films accordingly. So these, to start with, all the wrong reasons, but then all the right reasons, which still enrapture me about the game, about its poetry, its melody, its flow. There is a kind of bond amongst rugby players on a team that no sport, apart from physically challenging, violent team sports, perhaps ice hockey, American football, rugby league, Australian rules, footy. These are the ones that really create a special bond, because it's like you're in the trenches together, and you're actually every moment is a moment of danger, and you have to do this together. And finally, what the sport taught me, and I still have this, it's the only place where I learned this lesson, is that you can't do anything alone.
That's beautiful.
If you try and play rugby alone, you'll go to hospital or the morgue. You have to collaborate. You need the other people around you. And what a great lesson it is outside those 4 white lines, to actually go through life and recognize that nothing happens on your own. Everything happens with the grace, goodwill, warmth, and cooperation of hundreds of human beings.
That's beautiful. I think what intrigued me about the last part of your speech was, you told that there was a certain rhythm in rugby, that there is a lull, and there is again moments of intense action, and there is a lull. So it's more or less the same in films. I mean, you act out an intense scene and the director says cut. You have 5 minutes to yourself, and again say, probably we will be taking a closer shot, or let's do this again. So has that helped you in your acting as well?
Not at all.
The discipline?
No, there's no connection for me between cinema and sport.
Correct.
We can be domineering husbands and submissive sons. We can be spineless employees and tyrannical bosses.
Right.
We have different sides to us. And for me, what rugby demanded from my psyche and my soul was very different from what cinema demanded. You could say that there's a commonality with theatre.
Yeah.
Doleja, when you're actually working in a group, and
group theatre,
my roots lie in the theatre. Did it from the age of 6 to 40. You could say that there are similarities there, but with cinema is as an actor, you're very, very solitary. You spend a lot of time on your own, and then you go out there to create something with others briefly and then come back. What I can say is the ability to withstand pressure, which this game teaches you like no other. Then the rest of life is, as they say, makhan. It's
easy.
So easy. It's really, it doesn't pressure. What pressure?
Correct, you are. In fact, this would have been one of my things that I'd like to ask you. How do you handle tough pressure situations, high pressure situations? So rugby has actually taught you to handle pressure in real life, so that's very interesting.
I think when you are under intense pressure, you have to spot the source of the pressure. Is it your reputation? Is it your ego? Is it your financial condition? Is it your body? Is it your loved ones? Where are you feeling the pressure? Where is that weak spot that somebody has gone straight into, and that's when you feel the pressure? So I think that once you identify that, I'm actually feeling the pressure because it's my body, what do I have to do to make my body stronger? Or this particular person is threatening my loved ones. So what do I do to strengthen that and to protect my loved ones? And once you finish that, then the pressure goes. But you have to go to the root of the pressure and understand, is it my ego?
Correct.
Why do I feel it? If it is my ego, then I have to either decide that, okay, then I will walk away from this. Or I will do it and I will submerge my ego.
Yeah,
One of the two things.
Fair enough, yeah.
So the best way to deal with pressure is to honestly, ruthlessly ask yourself where it's coming from, and then once you find the source of the pressure, to remedy that.
And if I ask Rahul Bose, the person, what has been your biggest investment in all these years, be it sports, be it films, be it your personal life, what would you say? Your biggest investment, all these years in your life?
Into myself?
Into yourself, or it can be rugby, or you can choose to answer in any which way you like.
My emotional energy.
Right.
My emotional energy that I give to this interview, that I give to the talk we had earlier during the Tata Steel
Trailblazers
Trailblazers 4.0
session, yeah.
Correct. When I'm playing any sport, when I'm tomorrow I'm going to be speaking to the women's team. They're here at National Camp here in Kolkata. The emotional energy that I give to somebody is the greatest gift I can give. There's nothing more I can give. The authenticity of who I am, the truth of what I speak, to be completely transparent, to be completely in the moment. And that is the greatest gift I think even I would like to receive from someone. Just the honest, authentic, true person.
Yeah.
Because then you can build. Then you can take the relationship forward. Then you can progress. Without honest beginnings, without two people sitting and saying, okay, this is what you want, this is what you want, this is what I want. And I'm not talking about relationships, I'm talking about deals, I'm talking about business. I'm the worst business person because I get straight into the emotion of the moment. Like, what is it that I can do to make you happy?
Really?
Yeah. And I never talk money. What is it that you can do? What is it that will make me happy? Is there a common point? There is. Money, even with my films, I think our money conversations have not taken more than 3 to 4 minutes.
That's amazing. And since you spoke about money, you spoke about a very interesting thing at the inaugural session. Ladies and gentlemen, hear this from the man himself. This man, Rahul Bose, has actually gone to the sponsors saying, can you give me money? Why don't you elaborate this story? I think this would be a beautiful life lesson. You just spoke about ego. This is like swallowing your ego to such an extent that you literally went there and asked for money. Being Rahul Bose, the celebrated actor, the sports person he is in India.
I mean, I'm a peon and a delivery boy. That's my job. And it's my job. I'm a beggar. I'm a beggar and a delivery boy.
This is your thumbnail of the interview. This is the
because I have no problem. I mean, a mother will beg for food to save her daughter if they're starving. And I will have no problem with an open hand going to people and asking for money if it makes the lives of my players better. I will never, ever, ever associate that with my ego or with what that person will judge me for. Never. And I do it every day. I did it today.
Really?
I did it today on the way back from the airport. I did it today. I spoke to this person. I said, look, you've given us money in the past. I would like some more money for this. This is what we'd like to do. And when, as I say in Hindi, agar niyat sahi hai, to natija niklega. It rarely fails. The amount of money might shift a little bit here and there, but it rarely fails.
The heart should be in the right place.
Because they know that it's being done, you're asking for a particular reason.
Correct.
But that has to stem from the fact that you, as a person, the credibility, your credibility is not reputational. It's only about, is he greedy? Is he doing this for his personal aggrandizement? And they know that I'm never, it doesn't bother me. If I don't make another rupee in my life, it doesn't bother me. So I will do it time and time again. And you started the question by saying, I went to the sponsors, even before I was president, I was part of the board, and I went to a particular sponsor, and I said, I need to pay players. When I say we, the federation, please understand. Rugby India, we need to start paying our players, we need to semi-professionalize. They said, how much do you need? I said, to start with, we need 1 crore to pay them for these tournaments, an upward scale of pay, and we can't move ahead otherwise. And sure enough, we got the money. They said, yes, send us the hisab, send us the breakdown. We sent the breakdown, and at the end of the year, we gave them the hisab. This is where your money has gone.
That is amazing.
Now, what could be more
fulfilling
for them, for the sponsor, to know that I gave the money and it has changed the lives of these players, albeit temporarily, for this year.
This is how it has been utilized. Correct.
So I'll do it. I'll do it all the time, whether I'm president or not. I'll do it all the time.
So you'll do it again if the need be.
I do it. I have done it again and again. I do it every year. I go with a begging bowl at least 6-7 times. When I say begging bowl, it's a metaphor. Obviously, when you are a sport that is not winning medals in the Olympics or the Asian Games.
This is something you mentioned in the session to please tell this, that you know a sport when you win it. When people win the
people
medals.
say, why don't we know enough about rugby? I said, because we don't win. We haven't won on the world stage.
I must say, you were brutally honest.
Yeah, we haven't won on the Asian stage. Why would you be interested? So the first phase of any sport, anywhere in the world, is when 8 or 10 like-minded people get together, put in some money, ask friends for some money, and send teams to go and play international tournaments and things. And that goes on for a while, but it can't sustain. The second phase of a federation or a sports life cycle is when you are now where we are, semi-professionalizing, wanting to go fully professional. Adil said Sumariwala, he said that 10,000 people come and they pay for the 10,000 people for 10 days at the trials of these athletes. And that cost him 15 crores. 15 crores is our budget, annual. I mean, a give or take.
Yeah, got it, yeah.
So at this point of time, in the second phase, you are asking sponsors, corporates, state governments, central government for money based on a vision, a dream, a strategy, a step-by-step, milestone-by-milestone plan. Nothing more than that. And you can only say that, look, at every single date, you can check with us and see, have you reached where you said you would reach? And these milestones will happen every second month. So you can keep checking on us. That is still not enough for somebody to say, okay, we'll give you money.
That is a lot of pressure if you keep on checking every couple of months. A lot of pressure.
So we have found 5 or 6 or 7 sponsors who have believed in this in the middle run. But most sports fail to cross the second stage. Wow. They never make they never get to the third stage, because the third stage is when you have won. At the end of the second stage, you should have won something. At the Asian or the world level, you should have won something. Then your third stage is all about taking a quantum leap with, now people know, children want to play, parents have their eye on the sport, schools are asking what's happening with this, sponsors are coming in, television, online, digital, everybody's asking, can we know? That is when you begin to reap the benefits of all the pain you went through in the first and second stage. So I believe that Indian rugby is nearing the completion of the second stage, and we'll finish that, which is, will we win anything, in the next 4 years.
Since you mentioned about the parents, one of the senior producers at Revsportz, Trisha Koshal, she asked me to ask you this. She said, ask Rahul this, because I worked on the documentary. I've worked very closely with him and I know this. You've actually gone to parents to convince them so that the children can play rugby.
Yes.
I did not know this. Can you please elaborate on this?
Oh, many cases. I've been to a village in Panhala in Maharashtra where the entire village was standing there. So I said, well, who have they come to meet? They said, they've come to meet you. I said, why? They said, because in 50 years, nobody's come. Forget sports. Wow. Nobody's come in 50 years to see our village. So I went there and I said, okay, I'm going to be speaking to Tejas' parents. Tejas was the captain of the age grade team. He had done very well. We had won a medal. I'm going to congratulate him, congratulate his parents. And I suddenly realized that the parents are not enough. The whole village was sitting there. The kids in the front, the elderly people at the back, the women on the side, the men in the center, some thuggish looking guys alongside me. And I was like, I have to convince the whole village. I have to convince the whole village to let this. So it's not only
one family, you have to convince the whole village.
Absolutely, and why not? And why not? They just is theirs. So
that's very sweet of you.
When I went to wherever I go, when I went to Saraswatipur, which is a tiny tea garden on the border of Bengal and Sikkim, where 14 national players have come from, and I was speaking to the parents, and I said, and they were worried, because what will happen if my daughter breaks her bones? She has to get married. What will happen if my son gets injured? He has to work in the fields. He has to generate income. And all I tell them is, so for example, one of the first things we did as a board when I became president was to give insurance to anybody who makes the national camp. You will be insured for the whole year, even if you break your bone playing in your village. You're insured. So at least that money burden doesn't come on them. The most SMSs I've gotten since I was president is for the fact that I was announced the insurance for all the players. Aside from that, wherever you go, you realize that they're worried about the safety of their kids. So I actually go, and I have videos of this, with folded hands and say, I'm taking a girl as an example, but this goes for the boys too. Your daughter must study. She must do well. She must get married if that's what you wish. She must have children if that's what she wishes. She must have a family. But through all of this, can she keep playing? And I give them Mary Com's example of, she was cradling one of her twins in her arms many years ago and making dosa for me with the other hand in her kitchen in Imphal. And I was like, so you can do both. You can be a 5-time world champion and you can also have a family. So this is what I tell all the parents, that please trust me, this will be wonderful, but what you will do for us will be much more than what we can do for you.
Yeah.
And we just live with that. We just lost one of our players, from the national setup. She got married. She was 18, she got married last month or month before last, and she swears she'll come back to the game, but gone. I didn't meet her parents, but so you just have to deal with, when you're dealing with sport in this country, you can't just deal with sport. You have to deal with families, you have to deal with poverty, you have to deal with social stigma, you have to deal with misogyny, you have to deal with patriarchy, you have to deal with pressure on boys to be breadwinners. You have to deal with, our psychologist, national psychologist, spends most of her time with the men, not with the women. Because they have been told to carry the burden of their pain and their responsibility towards their families internally, never to show any kind of vulnerability. How damaging could that be? Forget about for a rugby player, for a human being. So it's all of this that you have to embrace. If you really want to make a difference in this country, you have to embrace all the problems of this country and say, those problems will affect us. Don't ignore them. Don't just say, "Ha, juta diya, khelo." Doesn't happen like that. What? We won a silver medal last year. Why aren't you coming this year? Doesn't work like that. A boy comes overweight into camp, and I find that his father passed away. So now what he has to do is, he has to, from 4 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the morning, he carries onions and potatoes and loads them into trucks. Then he goes to study. In the evening, he's too tired to train. He said, this is India. These realities. Either you do something about it, or then you lose him.
I think another very stark reality that we face, sir, in India is the gender bias, and you spoke extensively about it in the inaugural session as well, and you have embraced this gender bias and you have thrown it out of the window. Like how? You go and interact with girls, you go and interact with women, and I see a glitter in your eyes whenever you speak about women playing rugby.
Look, as a federation, and this board doesn't take credit for it, it has happened for many years prior to it, we are gender equal. What do I mean by that? All our camps, the food, the accommodation, every single facility that's given to the men is given to the women. In our tournaments, every single domestic tournament is played on the same ground at the same time. Men and women play alternate matches. So everybody gets the same treatment. Throughout the entire Indian rugby ecosystem that's handled by the federation, as a national federation, every single aspect is the coaches, the level of coaches, the same. Sometimes you are accused of even favoring our women. It's that much. In terms of numbers, it's 50-50.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it is, and this was given to us. This legacy was given to us by the previous board, and we treasure and will never ever let it go. Never. So I don't think that it exists because we don't even think about it. We think a lot about it internally. We ideate about it, a lot about it. We are very aware of it. But what we express to the players is, this is your chance. Whether you're a boy or a girl, a man or a woman, this is your chance to make your family, your community, your village, your neighborhood, and your country proud.
And I suddenly remember from rugby, I remember wrestling, and I remember a certain Mahavir Singh Phogat. I remember Amir Khan in the scene where he just puts a hand on one of his daughters, puts a hand on the shoulders of one of his daughters and said, "Sabas." And I think the whole country will do that for you, Mr. Rahul Bose, because the revolution you have been nurturing in your heart and you have been carrying on with so much guts, so much passion. I'm just too overwhelmed to thank you. I don't think I'd be able to thank you.
You can only thank me once we win. Till then, we are very happy to be invisible. We are very happy to be unknown. We are very happy to be not talked about. Once we win, then all these stories, everybody will be awake and alive to these stories. But that day is not far.
So a small difference between real and real. You people must have watched Dil Dharakne Do. There, he portrayed a certain kind of a character, where Farhan Akhtar brushes him aside. But to put that in context, Farhan Akhtar is now he's one of the voices for Indian rugby again, courtesy Mr. Rahul Bose. And now, when you meet Rahul Bose, you realize is exactly the opposite in real life. And it has been an absolute honor, pleasure, and privilege talking to you. Let us just not thank you when we win, because I think the process, the journey that we have embarked upon, and you've inspired so many people, you have got so many people together with their hearts in the right place and with their intentions in the right place.
And we have
I think that deserves a salute.
We have all of you to thank. I mean, you guys have backed us. So many people from the media have backed us. We have so many people to thank. This is our second phase, and in the second phase, you just need people to back you on a wing and a prayer, and I should be thanking you.
And we need one promise from Mr. Rahul Bose before we finish the podcast. So the day India wins its rugby medal, the first exclusive will be done by Revsportz, and Rahul Bose will give an exclusive to Revsportz on the day India wins its rugby medal.
I don't know where I'll be at that time. But
wherever you are, we'll just call you.
If I'm around and my heart is still beating, I'll do it.
Fantastic. That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching this very special podcast with Mr. Rahul Bose. Thank you so much.